What's up guys, Brian Tong here with CNET.com, and I'm in a Best Buy store, and we're here to talk about CNET's buying guide for smartphones. And come on, who better to help me out than senior editor Jessica Dolcourt here with CNET. And we know that the smartphone is going to be the biggest purchasing decision a lot of you at home are going to make. So there are so many different platforms and different things we can talk about, but let's start off with Android, iOS, and Windows Phone. What is the best platform, pros and cons for people at home to decide about?
Android is on a ton of different phones right now. It has the best tie-in to Google services. It's got Google Now, which is really convenient, and it's the most customizable if people are into that. One con, however, is that since it's on so many different phones, the experience isn't always the same phone to phone, and not every phone will have the exact same features.
Yeah, sometimes you have to look out for that. People think it's the same everywhere, but it's not. But then we have something like iOS, which gives you a consistent one overall, right?
Exactly. There are only two phones to choose from with iOS. There's the iPhone 5S and the iPhone 5C right now, and those are both really good. iOS is very clean, it's very consistent and easy to use straight out of the box. And there's Siri as well. It also is a shoo-in if you've got Mac equipment at home. It is the best one to sync with all of those different devices. However, it is not customizable at all, so if you're a person who likes to tweak things, you are out of luck.
Now, let's talk about Windows Phone. They're becoming a new player now.
Yeah, Windows Phone is really clean. They're on a lot of really good Nokia phones right now. Unfortunately, it is going to be the last to get the new apps, and it just isn't quite as feature-rich right now. So that's a platform that's really good for somebody who just wants a simple experience and doesn't want to add on a lot of extra whistles and bells.
So design and screen size, let's kind of talk about some of the sweet spots with phones.
Screen sizes have changed a lot in the last year. 5 inches is now almost the norm.
Yeah, so we have something here like the HTC One. This is a hot phone, 5-inch screen, really big. I mean, it's still easy to hold too.
Perfect example. So benefit there is that you've got a big screen real estate, so you can look at things very comfortably without having to squint or shove the phone up to your face. Then we've got even larger phones. We've got the phablets, and those start at about 5.5 inches, go all the way up to 6.1 inches. This is the Galaxy Note 3 that you're holding. It is a lot larger, so it's a lot harder to stick in your pocket. It's a lot harder to use one-handed, but because the screen is even larger, it's even easier to watch videos, read articles, look at photos, things like that.
And then one cool thing about this phone is that it has a stylus, so you can really interact with this big screen in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah, with the stylus, you can draw, you can write. I use it in meetings all the time.
And then the old style, screen size, that's still staple, but things have evolved.
So that would be under 5 inches, and unfortunately that's the iPhone family right there.
This guy right here.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of mid-range phones also. iPhone 5S is the most premium phone at this size. It is incredibly easy to use one-handed, so that is a benefit. Slips really easily into pockets. So if you're a person who cares more about ease of use, then this is going to be the size for you.
So we talked about the different sizes of phones. A thing now though is that this phone here has started to become people's camera, right? No longer, we know there's DSLRs, we know there's point-and-shoot cameras, but by default, this is it. So what should people look for in a camera on their phones these days?
Looking at megapixels isn't going to tell you a lot these days anymore. HTC has something they call ultra pixels. Apple doesn't really tell you much at all. And then you've got, of course, phones like Samsung phones that have a 13 megapixel camera. You've got the Nokia Lumia 1020 with a 41 megapixel
which is huge.
camera. Enormous, but that only resolves to 5 megapixels. So I think what you really need to know is that any premium phone is going to take pretty good pictures. Most of the time, people don't even use photos for printing anymore or putting in photo books. That's when you're going to care about the quality. If you're just going to be uploading to Facebook or to Instagram, then most of the cameras out there are going to do the job.
All right, so we've talked about platform, design, and camera. We also have contract phones versus no contract phones. What are some of the benefits for that as well?
So a lot of people really don't like to be tethered to a carrier. There's also a problem if you leave your carrier, you're going to get smacked with a penalty. So no contract carriers like T-Mobile and some of the prepaids are good options for that. They generally offer lower price data plans, but you do have to pay more for your phone up front, or you can use an installation payment method. You also have the contract carriers. That's really good for people who are on family plans, for people who plan to stay with their carrier for a while, and they get the subsidized price of the phone, so that's going to be a lot less upfront. So you're talking about $200 for a high-end smartphone instead of $600 for a high-end smartphone.
So Jessica, we've talked about platform, design, camera, and then contract versus no contract, but really, what is your #1 tip for everyone watching what they should look for when they're getting a phone?
Before you go and buy the phone, make sure that you go into a store and get your hands on it, because it doesn't matter how fast the processor is or how fancy the specs are. If you don't enjoy using that phone every day, if you don't like the way it looks and feels in your hand, then it is not the phone for you.
Yeah, and we want everyone to go home happy
Absolutely.
with the phone that they pick, right?
Of course.
All right, well, there you go. There's our buying guide for smartphones from CNET.com. I'm Brian Tong. This is Jessica Dolcourt. Make sure to check out our website if you want to find out more reviews, tips, and how-tos on all the phones we talked about, and we'll see you guys next time.